Told you yesterday that I was going to go ahead and take the windows out and show you how I did that. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 bolts here. So there's bolts here and here. There's also a bolt back here and a screw here for the window felt that needs to come out, and the clips are a pain in the ass if you don't already know that. Oh, there was a, where was that jacking nut? Jacking nut right here that helps you get your in and out on your door frame or your window track. And there was another jacking nut there. Then on the back side here, there's a jacking nut that goes there for the window vent, and then there's a bolt that goes there. And then down in the hole, which I don't know if you can see or not, there's a little screw hole right there that you gotta pull out, and a screw hole right there. And once all those are out, then it's just a matter of kind of fiddling with it and to get it out. I don't have a my assembly manual doesn't list actually how to take this apart, so I'm kind of doing it one piece at a time and figuring out what works. There's probably other guys that have a little bit better of a method for getting this door stripped and all the way apart. Thanks. From here on, the window vent needed to be kind of pulled, tugged a little bit, twisted. You see here how this thing is, it's already bent that way. I didn't do that. Those little bends in there help you get the thing twisted and pulled through the regulator. The glass itself is right here, and it just comes out after a little bit. For the regulator itself, I had to pull this piece off, which is nothing more than just sliding it. Let's see if I can get you good. You see it's got a roller, so you can just slide it off there. As soon as I get done pulling it out, I put it all back together. That way I don't forget where anything goes. I had to pull this piece off here, which is just another it's a 7/16. Then I had to pull the track through here and pull this section of it off, and then it would come out through here. And then the section here with the window crank and stuff, it comes out of this hole. So once you get that stuff out, then your door's pretty well empty, except for the door latching mechanism, and I'm not removing that right now because I'm gonna have this door on and off, and I'd like to be able to keep it somewhat lined up for now. And a little bit of grinding grit isn't gonna hurt this if I blow it, clean it out, and then relube it before I put it together final. So, all right, thanks. Actually, I'll give you another. Be continuing this once I get it outside and get it finish getting it stripped, and then start making some patch pieces for the corner. I've had a couple people say this isn't worth it and it's a waste of time and shit like that. And there's a lot of people out there that will tell you guys that when you're working on a car. They'll call you a hack or tell you that you're working on junk, and that's cool. They've got money. They can buy nice cars that are already done and then redo them. Me personally, I mean, this is my first car, so it means a lot to me, so I try to get it, any way I can. And right now I've got a limited budget, and being able to afford $500 for a door really isn't in the cards right now. But hell, I mean, another 10 years I'll probably end up having this thing off the frame and redo it. So it's not that big a deal, but I just want to get it on the road, and it's going to take some repairs like this, home making some stuff that might not be perfect, but we'll make do until I can afford to get a new door. But, all right, see you in a little bit. Thanks. So I finished skinning the outside. I'm not going to show any video of that because it's really not necessary, but this is where I'm working now. Maybe you can see a little bit better. I really can't hardly tell. Got her outside right now. She's pretty bad, but I think it's fixable. Maybe, I don't know. Worst I could do is try and not be able to not get it right. Maybe try again. Who knows? This side isn't looking to be too bad. I'm probably gonna try to cut these spot welds. Let's see. There's one. You can see where they're at. They're like little dimples. Even if you can't, then run a wire wheel over them. A lot of times you can pick them up then. And cut these spot welds, and probably have to cut the lip a little bit, and then peel that back, and then just remove most of all the offending metal. I haven't made up my mind whether I'm going to remove it all and then try to figure out how to remake it, or to keep matching it up with the rusted metal and then remove this and then put the new in. So I'm leaning towards the latter, but boy, I'd love to have all this ugly gone. Well, alright, thanks. As you can see, I got marked out the first patch panel. I'm going to cut it out with a 3-inch cutoff wheel here in a little bit. I decided to go with this corner first because it's the hardest. Just made more sense to me. If I can get this one done and patched and fit in the door frame and everything seems to look good and work good, then obviously I can get the other one done, and then I can work on the skin, and then hopefully get this thing done or in primer within the next month or so. Here's a template I made. I just laid a Wheaties box over top of the door frame and then traced it around and then cut it out. Now it's gone through a couple different ones from the original tracing and then to this and everything else, so it's going to be a little bit oversized, which is good. It's kind of part of the plan, because once I get it where I like it, then I'm going to go through with a hammer and dolly and turn the edges down. That gives me a little bit more structural rigidity in this piece, rather than just weld this on flat and then weld this piece here on flat. If you roll that edge, this piece has a little bit more rigidity. That, and it's plug welded to, well, spot welded originally, going to be plug welded to this piece of structure. But it'll have a little bit more rigidity, and it'll be a little bit easier to get this piece lined up, and then you do the same thing with this piece, and then so on and so forth. At least that's how I've done other panels like this. I mean, I've handmade some floors and handmade floor braces and stuff like that. It's kind of the same idea, only this has got to be a little bit more exacting because it has a pocket that it has to fit in really closely, and I've got a gasket seal that runs across here that needs to fit into that seal. This is actually a piece of the quarter panel, I think passenger quarter panel, I'm not sure. I cut around the wheel well, and it's pretty flat, so, and the metal's decent. I mean, when you cut off a lot of offending metal, like if you look up here, see this is all rusted, shitty, but if you look down here, it's good. You find a lot of decent metal. Said earlier that I cut those quarter panels, or the outer wheelhouse, a little short, so it left me with this piece of outer wheelhouse, and as you can see, this corner right here, it really kind of closely matches this bend right here. So this might end up getting used, sort of with some tweaks, of course, but it might end up getting used sort of how it's stamped. But alright, well, I'm going to get this piece cut out and start cutting out the old and then putting in the new, and then I'll give you another update. Thanks. Yeah, here's the patch panel that I made, just kind of sitting in the hole. You see, it actually fits pretty damn close. Here's the hole. There's the structural piece. Just got a little bit of rust damage. There's a hole right there and a little hole right there. But I mean, for an old used door, a couple little pinholes and a structural piece isn't that big a deal, as long as I can get this thing clean, get the rust out of there. Got some rust converter from Eastwood that I'll try, spray in there, and then wherever I'm going to plug weld, which will be like probably back close to where it was originally, here, and then there was one here, and then one up there. I'll just clean that up and then hit that with some weld through primer. But yeah, it's pretty close. So you can see that little edge that I've put on there. It looks a little bent up on the camera, at least to me, but it's not. It's just that it was a little bit, you know, a little low there, so there's not as much material. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn close. And then this bend originally came up and then angled here, and I just see no reason to make this so that difficult in this patch panel. So I just brought it into the new panel and then ended it. I'm going to move back inside here in a minute because I'm still outside, and then I'll clean up on that structural piece a little bit more and paint it, and then be ready to weld this in a little while. Thanks. This is that Eastwood rust converter. It doesn't come out as a paint color. It comes out clear. It's the first time I've used it. It's hard to tell, but it's turning the metal purple, and where the rust was the worst, it's turning it almost black. Can says to wait 48 hours before painting or doing anything with it, so I'm gonna at least wait till tomorrow till I mess with it. So I'm probably just gonna have to leave this alone. Then it says to use a paint over top of it, so I'm gonna have to tomorrow, or it says 48 hours, but I'll probably just do it tomorrow if it's cured, because it's freaking way hot out. Probably just paint over it with a little bit of Rust-Oleum semi-gloss, and then mark out the areas where I want to drill holes in my new panel here, and line that up, and then grind a little area away for my plug welds, and then paint them with the weld through. So I think it's about pretty much a stopping point today, even though it's probably shut on 5 o'clock or so, but oh well, sometimes you can only get done so much. Thanks.